Hey guys, it's Mariya. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to all the new subscribers, all the new faces that I've been seeing around here. Recently, I'm so glad to see that our family is slowly growing and expanding, so that's so awesome. A lot of you guys made your way over to my channel through a video I made almost a year ago now. It was a review of Simply Piano. I think I gave myself around 2 days to get familiar with the app and then shared my thoughts with you as a piano student and a piano teacher. And it was really interesting to read all of your comments on the video, whether you loved Simply Piano or hated it, what you thought about my take. They really got me thinking that maybe I could have been a little more open-minded going to the whole experience, because I watched the video back and it did tend to be a little negative. Maybe that's what kind of drew the views in. I don't know. But I was really going into it from the perspective that every single pianist deserves to have the basics of note reading, rhythm understanding, hand position understanding, weight distribution, sound production, all of those standard basics that every professional classical pianist should have. And I still stand by that. But what I fail to realize is that a lot of people don't have that on their top priority list when they're picking up piano as a hobby. And for piano players who are just looking to learn their favorite songs or play something relaxing at a new piano they got, they don't necessarily have the time, nor do they want to put in the time to learn all those basics, because it's not going to be a career for them necessarily. It might just be an outlet, etc. So that's kind of where I think I could have been a little bit more open-minded about the whole situation. And it's so random. Like, you guys who have been here for the longest time on this channel, you know how long ago I made that review video. I haven't been making review videos for the longest time, and now the algorithm just randomly decides to pick that video up. But it really showed me that there's an interest in these apps, and there's a really big influx in people who are looking to learn piano kind of on their own, maybe a cheaper version, more affordable version of private piano lessons, and they see that through the form of an app. And with this increase of demand for more accessible piano education, I think it's my place as a professional classical pianist to give my 2 cents, share the pros and cons, my thoughts on these apps, how effective they are, just so you can do your research and you can also have a well-balanced opinion of these apps before you commit to something like this. But with that, this video is really going to be a first impression / review of Flowkey. Flowkey is one of the 3 big piano apps. So there's Simply Piano, Flowkey, Musician, and I think a few others. So I'm just going to open it up for the first time, try some things out, and share my thoughts with you. Let's jump straight in. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to pretend, again, that I have little to no piano experience, because the more experienced piano players, I think, already have the basics down. And my main question is how this app will help you nail down those basics. Okay, what kind of music would you like to play? I think I'll do romantic classical, although romantic is an era of classical music. Everybody knows that. Okay, let's do pop hits. Actually, no, I like film and TV. Let's do a little bit of pop hits still. I like everything. Happy, groovy. Christmas. Technically, Christmas is over, but okay, let's keep going. Okay, so I am going to start the course, the beginner course, intro to piano.
Let's get started with the most important basics. When sitting at the piano, you should be in an upright and comfortable position. Your fingers should be parallel to the keys when you place your hand in the middle of the piano. Your elbows are pointed slightly outward. When you move your hands outward, your elbows should move with them, so your arms will open up.
True. The only thing I don't agree with is your fingers don't have to be parallel.
Your fingers should be slightly bent, as if you are holding a small ball in your hand. Just imagine you are holding this ball while playing.
I love this already. I think something I missed from the Simply Piano is they kind of jumped right in and didn't talk about hand form or hand position. So I'm really loving that they're talking about hand position, because I know I said all that stuff in the intro that it's not a priority for a lot of people, but it's the same as doing like a sport or dance, right? Like, you will get farther if you have the right position and the right habits. So it's still very, very important. It always has been, always will be. So I'm very, very glad that this is the first thing they're talking about.
Let's take a closer look at the black keys. These come in groups of 2 and 3. This pattern makes it easy to orient yourself on the piano.
True.
The first and most important key is the C. The C is always located to the left of the 2 black keys. A special C is the so-called middle C. On a standard piano, you can find the middle C to the left of the 2 middle black keys. This serves as another orientation point on the keyboard. When you place your right thumb on middle C and your other fingers each on one key, this is called C position. This position is made up of the notes C, D, E, F, and G. The C position is the starting position for playing your first melodies on the piano.
So I just want to stop it right there. The only thing, and I know I'm being very picky and very mean, but the only thing that stood out to me is that all of the fingers, when he was showing the hand position, were kind of lined up with each other, and I would kind of go out of my way to let students know, or potential piano players know, that all of your fingers are a different length, and if you curl them to line them all up, that could potentially result, most likely will result, in extra tension that you don't need to play the piano. So a better way to figure out your natural curve for the piano is just to shake your hands out, let them hang, pick them up, and you can already see that my curve is not going to be the same. My fingers are not going to line up on the keyboard. That's not something they cover, but that's something that I would certainly keep in mind when trying to find your optimal hand position. Let's keep going. Ooh, this is interesting. I wonder what this exercise is going to be. Again, this is a great start. I love that they spoke about posture and hand position right away. I would also talk about weight transfer because I've dealt, again, like this is speaking from an extra year of experience on top of what I had when I was doing my Simply Piano. So I've been teaching for almost a decade now, and a lot of the bad habits that I'm struggling to overcome with, together with my students, is the isolation of all the fingers. So a lot of students go into piano playing, and I don't know if you'll see from this far away, but I'll try to play it kind of up here or something, is when you isolate just the finger and just play from the finger, keeping this wrist and hand very still. That's not what you want, and it doesn't give you that freedom at the piano and that tension-free way of playing. So I think a great way to start would just be to take your middle finger, because it's the one in the middle of your hand, and just play a few notes using your entire arm, using the weight of your hand and arm. Really random notes, it doesn't really matter. What you're trying to teach yourself is that you have this weight from your arm and you're letting it go all the way into the key through the finger. Because really the only work that the finger should be doing on the large scale is being a good vessel for the weight transfer. And of course, your fingers have to be active at some point, but that shouldn't be the number one priority for sound production. So far, I'm liking this more than the Simply Piano app. I think they're really prioritizing the skills that need to be learned first, much better than the other app. So I'm happy. I like it so far. I'm really interested in seeing how Flowkey is going to approach the note reading, score reading aspects of it. So let's just jump around and see what we find. Okay, they're using a little bit of the weight transfer. I also like that it's not only the thumb that's playing the C. It's good to change up the fingers. Okay, so they're using second finger for everything. I'm actually a fan of that. Like I said, I think the weight transfer aspect of it is very important. Maybe they're just thinking about incorporating it gradually, and I'm also a fan of that. Because as long as the habit's there, it doesn't really matter how you introduce it at the very beginning. You can do it intellectually for a more intellectual student, or you can just, do it this way by just using the second finger. And I can see that their hand is kind of also, whoops, I missed. Their hand is also kind of lifting and getting put back down. So it's not just the finger that's moving, which is good. Okay, so I get it. So they're introducing every single note by itself, and then they're doing those 5 notes. So I guess that's all they have for the beginner, which I wonder when they would introduce the full staff. But I think I would have to spend a little bit more time with that to really learn. This is interesting, mastering key jumps.
Often when you play the melodies of well-known songs, the keys are further apart, and you have to stretch your fingers. In this course, we're going to do a variety of exercises to practice precisely this playing technique on world-famous songs.
I feel like I'm talking too much, but this is a first impression video, so I'm just going to say what I have to say. Stretching is never good. Stretching is how you get tense and injured. If you guys know anything about my teaching style, I'm always saying no to stretching if at all possible. Of course, sometimes you have big chords, like in Rachmaninoff, like it's impossible not to stretch. Or, in like the Franck Sonata, the violin sonata, it's impossible to stretch. It's impossible not to stretch. But if you have like a single note melody and you're going from C to G, 1, 3, don't stretch. Just use the pedal to connect. Or at the very least, if you want to stretch between the thumb and the 3, as soon as you have those 2 notes connected, let go of the thumb. So don't hold extra notes that you don't need. You have no idea how much stamina that's going to save you and how much longer you're going to last throughout your pieces and throughout your piano journey in general. Take it from me. Try to stretch as little as possible. Of course, sometimes it's inevitable, but yeah, I'm really not a fan of these stretching exercises, although it is like old school training.
When you play keys that are further apart from each other, your wrist makes a rolling motion. This makes it easier to reach the keys while keeping your hand relaxed.
True. I agree. Stretching hand. Okay, maybe it's not going to be that stretchy. We'll see. Play this exercise with the exact same fingers. Okay. See, this is fine, but for a small hand, for like a child-sized hand, this might already be an issue if you're not telling the children to let go of the notes they've already played. So going back to the kind of the basics. Yeah, like they're clearly letting go of the thumb. I would kind of add that in. I know they focused on the wrist, and if you automatically do that wrist rolling motion, you will let go of the thumb. But I would also kind of bring attention to the fact that, hey, I'm not holding down all the notes, because that can be hard when you're initially starting with piano. That's been my experience with beginner students. But so far, I'm really, really liking this. This is really good. Okay. I like that they're taking the hands apart. I like that they're not jumping in right away. This is really, really good, especially for an app, because how tailored can it really be, right? But they've really done a great job with this. I'm a fan. And even the fingering, so what I was going to say is the fingering is good. It looks like the pianist that is playing on screen is doing a little bit, this looks like a different set of hands than what we were looking at before. And every single pianist has their own kind of set of habits and their own hand shape and size, etc., etc. So no 2 hands are alike, You have to find out what works for you, but there are certain principles that work for everybody. And it looks like this player in particular has a habit of keeping the thumb outstretched. You'll notice it more, where was it? I think bar 3 and 4, they're just playing and the thumb is kind of outstretched. And so that's something that I would discourage in general, but you wouldn't really notice a difference in a piece like this anyways because it's so slow. It's quite simple, and it's more brain work practicing to read the notes than fast fingers, if anything. So I think that's good for now. I know I didn't do a deep dive. This was just kind of surface level, pretending to be a beginner and seeing how they would approach learning and teaching the basics. But I'm excited to talk about what thoughts I have with this app after seeing it. So unlike Simply Piano, I really like how the basics were approached in this app. Of course, I do have an injury prevention / Alexander technique / Taubman technique approach to things. So my ideas and approaches vary from the traditional piano technique that has been here for decades, like almost a century, those traditional method books. But as far as the traditional methods go, this app does stay quite true and quite close to those methods. I love that they introduced the idea of the wrist and having this, I think they called it a rolling motion. However, they did just talk about it in the horizontal plane, so they didn't say that the wrist can and should move up and down if need be to adjust to each finger length and shape. But I do love that they started to incorporate that free wrist. And it's safe to say that a player that has already given themselves permission to move their wrist will kind of further develop that and also allow for an up and down wrist motion. I would still point that out though. As far as learning and practice techniques and approaches go, I love that they were breaking down how to learn something, because it really doesn't matter what level you're at. If you're learning pieces that are above or at your level, so meaning you're not reading things that are too easy for you, you will benefit 1,000,000% from taking it apart, because jumping right in, hands together, can produce a lot of tension. Again, it all comes down to tension, because at the end of the day, that's the major thing that can or cannot prevent you from getting through a piece, having that technical security, and having the ability to play freely and at your best. Something that I'd like to delve deeper into is how they continue to teach note reading. I remember in Simply Piano, they said that I think right was up and left was down for the keyboard, and for the staff, up was up and down was down, which I really liked. It seems like Flowkey is going with the more visual approach. So like, hey, this is what C looks like, this is what D looks like. I think a mixture of both is good, because at the level of playing that you eventually want to get to, you want to feel as comfortable as possible reading the notes, and that actually incorporates a little bit of already knowing what the note looks like. Like if I visualize, E5, I know what that looks like on the staff, but also if I have some crazy ledger lines and I don't really have those notes in my photographic memory, so to speak, I can always calculate what that note is going to be. So I hope that makes sense. You do need to have a combination of those things. If you keep counting for every single note that you have to read, you are going to tire yourself out. So at some point, it is a good investment of your time to just memorize the basic notes, so the ones that fit on the staff and a few ledger lines on either side. But overall, having spent this initial time with Flowkey, I am a big fan. I like what they're doing. I like what they're prioritizing. And I would recommend, if you want to try a piano app, out of the two that I've tried so far, Simply Piano and Flowkey, I would definitely recommend Flowkey. I think from every aspect except potentially the note reading one. Don't know enough about that to have a strong stance on it, but from the hand position and setting yourself up for a better hand movement and gesture repertoire, I would definitely suggest Flowkey over Simply Piano. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments. Of course, everything else that I said before goes as well. I think if you truly want a tailored approach to your piano learning journey, the best way to go is to find a good private teacher, keyword good, because there's a lot of private piano teachers out there who are not very flexible, or they have their one thing and they just keep recycling that. If you want somebody who's open to teaching a little bit of jazz, pop, classical, musical theater music, all of that stuff, you have to look for that specifically. A lot of people have had negative experiences with mega strict private teachers, but at some point, it's also your job as the customer, as the potential piano student, to find a teacher that works for you, who understands your goals, and is not going to try to just pursue their agenda with you. Trust me, I've been in both scenarios when the student is not a right fit for me as a teacher. I've had teachers who are not a perfect fit for me as a student, and so I totally understand. And it is a hunt, in a sense, to find your perfect private piano teacher if that's what you choose to do. However, if you choose to go the app route, I highly suggest Flowkey over some of the other apps. I'm also looking forward to reviewing a few other apps that are popular, so if you want to see some of those, let me know in the comments, and also leave this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and if you want to watch some more of my videos, you can do that right here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.